Okay, let's try this again and see if this will actually work. Hopefully you guys are also here with us. I don't know. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. We don't have the greatest service out here for some reason, so we're doing the best we can.
Coast of California, not so hot on the old Verizon Wireless isn't doing so good. So again, we are on the Carnival Panorama celebrating our 20th anniversary. Also, her birthday, our 20th anniversary is in April, and her, I won't say how old she is. Her birthday is coming up in March, and my birthday's in December, so we're kind of hitting them all.
I don't mind. It's my 40th birthday.
3 birds, 1 stone.
It's cool. It's cool. So we are excited to celebrate together and get some time away. We have 6 kids. We have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, a, help me out here, 12-year-old, 10-year-old. We have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. So we are
17 to 3 and everything in between.
Yes.
That's what I always say.
We are very blessed with friends and family that are helping us out and taking our kids while we go on this little trip. And we thought, hey, we have some time to ourselves for like a second. So let's do a little Q&A with you guys and answer some questions that you guys might have about us.
There we go. So here's the common questions that we've either gotten from you, the audience, or just people kind of over the years, like getting to know us, and people are like, wow, you got 6 kids, like, are they all yours? That's one question we get all the time. Are they all yours? Yes, they are all ours. We're not a mixed or blended family. They are all 6 biologically ours. We didn't adopt yet. We haven't done any of that.
I grew them all myself.
She hatched them all. So yeah, that's one common question we get though. Probably like, I don't know, probably one of the biggest questions, like, are they all yours? So yes, they are.
And one of them was actually a home birth, so that was a really, really cool experience.
That was actually the coolest birth, I think, ever. Oh. Ship announcement.
Good afternoon, Carnival Panorama family. This is Javon from your Fun Squad. I have an important announcement regarding our new self-mustering process.
Yeah.
All guests must visit their assigned muster station and check in with one of our team members at this time. If you have not completed your self-muster process, please do so immediately. Your muster station is marked on your boarding pass and can be found on decks 3, 4, and 5. It is also marked on the bottom left corner of your stateroom key. Also, whilst you still have internet service, make sure to download the Carnival Hub app.
Did that.
This app will let you know what's going on around the ship, check in for dining times, book excursions, and of course, let you know where the entertainment is.
Right on.
Type in carnivalhub.com to download for free.
Okay.
If you're signing up for our youth activities on board, to complete registration, please make your way to Camp Ocean.
We don't have any kids with us.
11 at the middle of the ship.
We're on a cruise by ourselves.
Your staterooms are ready for use, so if you have not been to your room, you can now access at your earliest convenience.
In case you're
Our
wondering,
bars are open around the ship,
what it's
and
like.
your vacation has started, so grab yourself a drink of the day, and also you can ask one of our staff about the drink packages for the cruising, including the bottomless bubbles unlimited soda package
Long-winded
and
announcement,
the
sir.
Cheers alcohol package.
Got it.
Our Shore Excursions desk is open on deck 3 in the atrium lobby if you want to speak to our Carnival Adventures team about the great excursions for this cruise. Also, our squad is offering spa tours throughout the afternoon on deck 12 forward. But once again, reminding everybody to please check into their muster stations, as this is mandatory. Thank you for your attention and welcome aboard.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
That might have been the 4th announcement, the exact same announcement since we've been on board.
And probably the longest one yet.
That was
So,
painful.
anyways, yeah, so we got a lot of kids.
That might be one question that you guys are having is like, where's your kids right now? So some of them are with grandparents, her parents. Some are with friends. Some of them are with other friends. And then some of them are with, that's it, right? Grandparents, friends, and friends. So,
yeah. So we've been very blessed to have amazing people in our lives that help us out, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so huge shout out to everybody helping us out to be able to celebrate our birthdays and our anniversary. It's awesome.
And have time to spend together without being interrupted. Although this guy seems to interrupt a lot.
The announcer guy is like on it.
He's like our 7th child.
So here's another common question we get. How did you guys meet? So I'll start off, I guess. We were serving at our church in Phoenix. This was back in what, 2003?
Yes.
About 2003. We went to a church together, and I was helping out in the youth group for 7th and 8th graders, middle school, and I had been in there for about, I don't know, a year, and Tiffany started helping out, and she caught my eye, and then we went to a summer retreat so we were in Phoenix, and we went to a summer retreat out here in California, kind of where we're at now. We went to, where'd we go? Huntington?
Huntington Beach.
Was it Huntington? It was near there. And yeah, the kids were like trying to set us up like the whole time, and we were like trying to play it off, but we both liked each other. And so that's where we started connecting.
Kind of had a little spark.
And then in California.
Hung out for a while, and then decided to start dating. And then I went to visit his family for his Christmas break because he was in college, and met his family and loved his family, and came home, pretty much decided we were going to get engaged, and he proposed to me, and then we were married like 3 months later. So we hadn't even known each other for a full year, but hey, it's 20 years
married.
And I still like you.
Right?
So it's worked out well.
That's right.
So yeah, fast marriage. If it was one of my kids, I would be like, no, what are you doing? That's way too fast.
All right, another common question. Did you always want to have 6 kids? I would say we didn't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, we were kind of just waiting, like, for whatever the Lord had for us, and we were just like, with our first, we were so excited about it, and then with our second, all of our friends had babies at the same time, so that was exciting, and then we just kind of got on a roll and kept going. They're definitely blessings, and we're so happy we have each and every one of them. They're all very different, but we didn't plan it, but we are glad that we did. It's definitely not always easy, and it can be stressful at times, but I definitely wouldn't take it back for anything.
Yeah, and I think like one thing for me is like, there's, I don't know, 3 was very challenging for us. Like when we had 3 kids, it felt like we were very outnumbered. If it was quiet, there was something bad going on, right? Like there was something going down. So 3 felt like a big leap, and then 4 was just like, whatever. 5, whatever. 6 felt like another big leap. So for us, it was like in 3s, right? So like the 3 and then the 6, those were hard, I think, to deal with. But like, you can't imagine your life without any of them. So like, it's like you just adapt to the circumstance and like the situation you're in, and the Lord provides you strength. So. No, we didn't always plan to have a big family. We both come from, like, she has basically a brother and a sister, so she's from a family of 3. I'm from a family of just me and my brother, so 2. Neither one of us grew up in a big family, so we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how the dynamics worked, anything. So.
Is there like a helicopter right here?
Yeah, he's over there. He's across the bay.
Why? Why?
Just trying to provide some background noise on our live.
Like, really?
The other thing that people ask us a lot when they don't know us is, what is the breakup of your kids? So we have 4 boys and 2 girls.
And then another boy.
Well, that's 4. But we have boy, 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 girl, girl, boy. So 2 girls, 4 boys.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
And then boy with our puppy Oakley.
Oh yeah, and then we got a dog. That's another question. Like, what made you decide to get a dog? That's a question I still have for her. I still ask that question to my bride. She's sneezing. She's allergic to something here in the Bay.
Oh, it's been so bad. I don't know what the deal is.
But yeah, so babe, why did we get a dog? What was your reason?
I wanted a puppy, and okay, so Caleb is 17. He's getting ready to like leave the nest. He'll be 18 in a few months. He's always been very driven and ready to like move out and do his thing. And I was like, I just want something that's gonna stay and be ours forever. And all of our kids, we used to have a boxer a long time ago, and we had her for a while. It was a great experience. Got really attached to our oldest too. And then we haven't had a dog for a while, and then I was like, we just need another one. It's a part of our family. I don't want to miss our younger kids getting to grow up without a dog. So we got one, and everybody wanted one, and now we're like, he's a crazy dog.
He's awesome, but he's also very destructive.
He's going through his crazy teenage years, and it's not been easy. But
what's hard with the Golden Retriever is he went through his crazy like chewing phase, like when he was a puppy. And now he's out of that, but he still chews on everything because he's in this like, hey, I'm bored and I want you guys to pay attention to me, so I'm going to chew up something.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
we're working on that.
It's been fun. All right, but we love him. He's good. I, again, can't really imagine our life without him. He's like a big cuddle bear. All right,
Similar
next
kids'
question.
ages.
How do you get it all done? So this is more for her because I would be
People
lost.
ask me that a lot. Like, how do you do all of it? Because we coach, we have a lot of sports for all the different kids. We have a lot of activities going on. And honestly, it takes a lot of me preparing and having a schedule. But mostly it's having to be flexible and realizing you don't get it all done. We end up, maybe having sports, a lot of sports at a time. My house is not going to be clean all the time. But when it's summer break and I have more time, I get the house clean. So it's just definitely a give and a take, and we don't get it all done, but we do our best to get what needs to be done. And you just got to be flexible and have grace for yourself and for the kids and for everybody, and try to make each moment and each opportunity meaningful. And
and I think the hardest part is like trying to make it fair across the kids, because I guarantee if you polled our kids, they would be like, oh, you devote more attention to him or her or whatever. Like, it's really hard as a parent of a big family to like divide your attention equally amongst all of them. So
yeah, that's probably been the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Especially when you have some kids who are very like easygoing and don't require a lot of attention. We have to definitely make, have the intention to go and reach out to them and ask them questions and try to get involved, which sometimes we're really good at and sometimes we're not. But especially as they're becoming teenagers and they start to withdraw a little bit more. Some of our kids are just really easygoing, and some of the other ones just require a lot more attention. Obviously our 3-year-old requires a lot of attention. Our 17-year-old is more of a outgoing person and like a let's go, let's do kind of person, and so he kind of,
and very independent too.
Yes, so. And then some of our middle kids are just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And
I think like for us, like we're very like we're into sports. Like I play hockey. She's athletic.
Kind of a sports family.
We're like a sports family. So like if a kid plays sports, it's natural for us to get engaged. I think I've coached every single one of my kids except Tobin in a sport. So Tobin's
which
our
is coming soon because he's going to be starting hockey.
He's going to play hockey, which I'm super stoked about because I still play hockey, and that's like my thing. So, but yeah, it like the more sporty a kid is, it seems like the more attention they get because the more involved we are just naturally. So, for instance, my one son, he plays football and baseball. I've coached him on both. And then now he's in high school, so I'm not coaching high school football, but we'll go run chains for his high school football team. So
or do meals and things like that.
Yeah, or help out with meals, like they do a team meal. So like it just helps us be involved, but it's really easy to be involved in your kids' sports. So please, 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 I plead with you. They need good parents to be involved in kids' sports. There's not enough of them.
Oh, it's so needed.
And it's so needed. Like you don't have to be an expert in the sport. Like I will admit, I'm not the best baseball coach, I'm not the best softball coach, I'm not the best football coach, but I do it because I want to be out on the field. I want to be encouraging those kids, and I want to be a good role model for their lives.
And you have YouTube where you can go and search for drills and different things you can do to
drills
help teach
galore,
them.
like football drills, baseball drills, softball drills. Like we do it all on YouTube. Like there's tons of good stuff on there. So get involved in your kids' sports, please, because they need good role models. They need parents that care. They need parents to devote time. Nobody's doing that, especially COVID. Like since COVID hit, really hard to find like sports refs, umpires, parents, like helping anything. So
well, and some of our kids who aren't super into sports, like Elias is more into kind of computers and programming and gaming, and he does do basketball, but he has his own computer, and he's kind of like the exception. We don't let all of our kids have much electronics in their rooms and things, especially like TVs. They don't have those, but we let him have a computer because he is very much involved with that. So we're trying to support them in what their hobbies are and what they love.
But it's hard for us because we're like, how do you get involved in?
It's
like
hard
a computer?
for us to get involved in that.
Yeah.
But you just do what you can. So.
All right, so I think we've already answered this one. How long have you been married? 20 years in April. So 20 years in April. Pretty cool. I would say, let's see, what's another good one? Oops, I already did that one. Why did you decide to have so many kids? I think we kind of already touched on that. Like we didn't really plan on it.
We were just blessed with it.
Yeah, it was just like we view children as like how the Bible teaches, like a full quiver is a blessing, right? Like many children are a blessing, and so we took God at his word, and we're like, you know what? Let's do it.
We also realize we don't want more than we can handle, and I feel like 6 has definitely pushed that.
Yeah.
And 6 is definitely our number of like, okay,
we're done. We're good.
So that's actually a big question too. Are we going to have more? And no, we are not.
We met our quota.
We are definitely not going to be having any more. That's why we got a dog. So
we've got a 6-pack of kids.
But I do get it, and we've been in the same stage of life for so long that I'm just excited to like start to get to the next stage of life. Like, I don't want to still be having kids when my kids are having kids. That's just, I don't want to do that. I want to be a fun grandma. So.
Yep.
And since we have a 17-year-old, it's like, oh my gosh, that's like around the corner. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. Like, I have a baby and a grown man in my home. It's weird. So
it is weird.
It's a
big
we're
jump.
ready to move on to the next stage of life and not be in baby life. But I can't wait to be able to hold future babies.
Yep. Get the baby.
I'll get my
fix.
baby fill from that.
All right. So here's one biggest thing that you've learned about raising kids. I would say that they don't come with an instruction manual, and
way harder than I thought.
And no matter how many books you read, like we've read really good books, like a lot of them, and you're not prepared, and you'll never be prepared enough, and you'll never have enough money, and you'll never have enough whatever, fill in the blank. Like there's always going to be a gap, and like in my mind, parenting is God's way of like keeping us humble and keeping us teachable, because like no matter what books you read, no matter how like you think you're prepared, you're like ready to go, like teenagers especially, we're learning, don't come with an instruction manual.
We always fall short.
Yeah, there's a need for us to be reliant on somebody bigger than ourselves, because we fail, our kids fail, like we're just messed up, all of us are, right? So like there is a lot of grace, and like just not putting that pressure of yourself of like, man, my kid's doing something like this or that or this behavior, like it's not all on you. Like you're gonna do the best, they're still gonna do bad, right? Or you're gonna mess up and they're gonna like go beyond that, they're gonna be above that, whatever. Like,
well, I think realizing that they're their own people, they're their own person, and they make their own choices, especially as teenagers. I think having the younger kids was so much not easier as far as like how hard it was. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think mentally and as a parent, parenting is harder with a teenager than with a little kid. And having teenagers now, we're starting to realize, okay, this is a lot more than we thought it would be. I thought it'd just be like, oh, we're gonna go to coffee together and have fun and play games and do all these things together. And it's like, no, they have like real problems, and they don't necessarily do the things the way I would do them. And that's a realization of like, that's kind of hard. Like, they may not take my advice, they might not agree with the things that I want them to do. And you know, and having to go through the reasoning and teaching, it takes a lot more time. And the whole thing about kids coming in late at night and talking to you for hours when you're ready for bed,
that's a thing.
That is a thing.
That's a thing. It happens a lot.
They will come and talk to you for hours about it, and I love that. Actually, it's really cool.
It's cool. But it is like needed to say that like your kids are gonna fail, we're gonna fail as parents. Like there's got to be grace, and there's got to be this humility of like, we're not their salvation. Like in our mind, we take the scripture literal when it says we plant and we water. So we plant seeds and we water those seeds, but God causes the salvation. So like if a kid is going through a rough time or having behavioral issues or any of that kind of stuff, parents a lot of times will wear that on themselves and take that personally. And like, yes, there might be a part of that is coming from our, I don't know, shortcomings in parenting. It might be part our fault, but you got to know that they're their own people, and like they're accountable just like we're accountable. So like it's not all on our shoulders to bear that burden, even though it's always going to be that burden, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, but that's one thing that we learned.
So another question that you guys might have is what is our faith? And a lot of people ask us, are we Mormon? We've got a giant van and a lot of kids. We've lived in Utah, and our last name
is Smith.
So no, we are not Mormon LDS, but we are Christian.
Yep.
Going about that.
Yeah, just like Orthodoxy, Bible believing, more Protestant leaning, more Reformed Protestant leaning. So yeah, just Christian, Bible believing Christians.
Yes.
Another question: biggest failure that you've had in marriage?
Our first couple of years was rough. We didn't know how to communicate.
Yeah, communication was like, I think we just expected, because we were really good friends, going into marriage that it would just be that way when we were married. But when you combine stuff like money and bank accounts and you know,
expectations.
like, yeah, these expectations of like, well, are you going to work or am I going to work? Like, what are we going to do? Like, it just, like, the first 3 years were super rough. Like, I think we were caught scratching our heads a lot of times going like, what did we sign up for? Like, is this really like what God called us to do, is marry each other? Because this doesn't feel like, this feels way more difficult than it really should. And that was kind of a rude awakening, I think, for both of us. And it was something that we had a hard time really dealing with. And like,
especially not knowing each other for very long before we got married. There was a lot we had so many good conversations and talked about a lot of in-depth stuff before we even started dating. But I think we had these expectations that we didn't talk about, that we realized, oh, you know what, that maybe wasn't what we expected. So we actually ended up going to a few marriage retreats, which was a huge blessing because it taught us how a marriage is supposed to work, the reason why God created marriage, and his view of it, and how we can respect each other and love each other, and how it's a picture of God's relationship with his church and Christ's relationship with his church. And yeah, it was huge for us.
Yeah, like those are, so if you're struggling in your marriage, I would encourage you to check out Family Life, because Family Life puts on these marriage retreats in all major cities around the U.S. Those are the ones that we went to. This is in no way affiliated with Family Life. We're just like indebted to them as a ministry because they, I would say, saved our marriage. Like, honestly, like, we had no clue what we were doing. Going to those retreats were basically pinned us to a T of like, you guys are in isolation. You guys have all these unreal expectations that you're pinning on each other. Like, that's not going to work. That's not the way you communicate.
The conference gave us time to sit down and ask each other the questions we didn't know to ask. And so we were able to actually work through things and ask each other questions that helped us to learn more about each other and set the right kind of expectations for each other. And yeah, it was huge for our communication.
Yeah, and it was like not overnight. Like, it wasn't like we went to one retreat and then like, whoa, we're fixed, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was a long period, but I would say by like year 5, we were on a totally different footing. And
but
we
it
went
gave
to
us
those
the steps to get things right, work on things.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it gave us like the framework to build on, which was great. All right, so biggest thing, this kind of goes into this, but biggest thing you've learned about marriage, I would say it's not about us. It's about, like you mentioned, Christ and his church. We're a reflection of Christ and his church, so like the love between a husband and wife should be there. My biggest thing is like, we're best friends. Like, we would rather hang out with each other than anybody else, and I think that's huge in our marriage, that like we want to do things together. So like, I think the biggest thing is like, I got back into hockey like a couple years ago, and she doesn't play hockey, but like she goes to every single one of my games, and that's crazy because
and they're late.
They're like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and she's there at every one of them. And like, I'm
your biggest fan.
Yeah, she's like at every game, and I'm like, it's so cool because we want to hang out with each other, and we do almost everything together. But I mean, there's times when
it's gross almost,
right? It's kind of sad.
No, but we're each other's biggest fan, and we want to support each other. Even if I'm not super into hockey, I'll get super into hockey because I love him and I know that he loves it, and I want to support him. So
she's better than me though, because if she got super into like quilting, I don't think I could.
I was into quilting.
I didn't.
He watched all the kids while they were sick and throwing up one time. Didn't even tell me about it so that I could have a good time on a.
She went to a quilting retreat. So I encouraged you in that.
That was huge.
All right, there you go.
You did good.
All right.
But
cool.
I think our battery's about to die, so I think we should close this off. We will definitely have to do another one of these, and hopefully you guys can have more questions for us to get to know us a little bit more. I hope this helped you guys to get to know us a little bit more. And, we're going to see you guys on the other side of a Mexican Riviera cruise.
The Mexican Riviera.
We'll have no service, so.
We're excited. 1 week.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, definitely comment on this video, though, if you have other questions for us.
Yeah.
We would love to help in any way we can. I mean, we don't have all the answers, but we'll definitely do our best to try to answer questions. If you have any personal questions for us, let us know. Just leave a comment below. Share this video with others. Hopefully it's an encouragement to other people. But yeah, we're not perfect. We don't have it all together, but we have a healthy marriage, I would say.
I think so. I like you.
Yeah, I like you. You're good.
I'm here with you.
I'll keep you. All right. Later, guys. Love y'all.
See ya.
Peace.